I don't have to always do an intro. I'll just sit here. Back to the Future. A movie rejected over 40 times back into the lap of Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis, probably because it was absolutely terrible. This movie is heavily considered to be the greatest science fiction movie ever made. Is it that good? Is Leah Thompson as we all remember her? Let's find out. Back to the Future. Another one of my personal favorite movies to start off the reviews with. A 1985 life changer, the movie literally blew the minds of viewers everywhere and gave time travel conspiracy theorists ammo for arguments about made up time travel. In other words, the movie was so good, people use it to back theory as fact in debates. The movie opens. Clocks. Missing plutonium, burnt toast, missing dog, missing Doc. Marty arrives and he's ready to jam. Barely gets the song started. Doc needs him for tonight. He just got here and is already 25 minutes off. This guy has the worst internal clock ever. And he is also a slacker with an attitude problem. Pinheads are ready to rock. They really juice up the news and Huey is not impressed. This is Marty's second song he's attempted to play in this movie in the first 5 minutes. Marty can't finish anything. Marty gets fresh with Jennifer and then she brings up his mom. Now that is how you kill a mood. We also find out the clock was destroyed by lightning in 1955. Biff is a bully, Marty's whole family are nerds, Butthead, Jailbird Joey, parking with boys, tons of jokes to pay off later. Marty arrives at the mall, unveiling the all-new DeLorean, a luxury car where if you buy one, nothing could possibly go wrong. Einstein is set to time travel. Success! Einstein is gone and in the future, but suddenly not gone, so Einstein skipped over that minute to instantaneously be in a different minute on the other time in the same place. So he didn't exist for a minute. Doc sets the DeLorean for a time when Mr. Peabody had a tree farm. He goes on to explain how he stole plutonium to generate a reaction for... So this is where the movie gets interesting. The Libyans want their plutonium back, and Marty is forced to see if they can do 90. This is what you might start calling a little bit of a coincidence that everybody shows up at the exact time to force Marty to go back in time. But we'll get into that a little bit later. This is a decision that's going to make Marty's life very interesting for the next couple of days. Spaceman Marty finds himself in a barn. He escapes. He runs out of gas and has to walk to Hill Valley 1955. Let's recap. Marty's a slacker. Screws around before school. Late. Mouths off to the principal. Wants to run off to camp with some woman that he's not married to like a slacker. He doesn't seem to fit in the life around him. His parents' friends, his school, his music. He has an insane best friend who is amazingly irresponsible. He puts his dog in danger and Marty. Then he's murdered. It's almost destiny that he ends up finding himself in 1955, 30 years ago, to set his own life in order the way it's supposed to be. Like he was meant to go back in time, not like it was an accident. He was supposed to be in 1955, when that faithful event happens 30 years from now, when Biff crashes the car. But Dad, I needed that call! Marty finds Doc's address, and he watches his dad get bullied by Biff. He chases him to his birdwatching tree. Marty saves him from getting hit by a car, and he wakes up pantsless with Leah Thompson. Things are weird. Things are about to get weirder. He immediately forgets he's in 1955. Finds out Doc's address. Then his mother gets farther with him than Jennifer ever has. Doc is failing at another experiment and does not seem to be the confident lunatic of the future. Marty lays it out for Doc, and he does not believe him. Marty introduces Doc to the flux capacitor. Doc is now Team Marty. Doc watching a home video of how to power the time machine, and he gets some bad news. Doc says, "Oh boy, I wish we had a lightning strike." Marty says, I have some good news for you. Doc then tells Marty to stop screwing with the space-time continuum like a moron. His family is now being erased, starting with the oldest sibling, specifically one at a time. Marty attempts to play matchmaker and fix his mistakes, but Lorraine only likes people near death, or people who are fading from existence. Marty tries again, and then has to save his mom from Biff, further cementing himself as the anti-George. Marty tries a third time and decides to pretend to be an alien, to threaten George into listening to him. George is drugged into a diner to set things straight, but he is still George McFly. Biff arrives, of course, and this is going to be bad. Marty saves the day and escapes the diner, while his mom has to use his dad's shoulder to hold her up, due to the weak knees her son's manliness gave her. Marty outwits the morons, and is able to embarrass them in daring fashion in front of the whole town. Now Mom is desperate. Doc is trying to show Marty how he will get back to the future when Mom tracks him to Doc's house, and now they are dating. George is getting BA man lessons. He is practicing that famous line, "Hey Glue, bet your ham fan golf have learned." Doc is not trying to hear about his eventual death, so Marty puts it in a letter for 1985. Fish Under the Sea dance is underway, and Marty parks with Mom. In the most heroic bully move ever, Biff drags Marty out. Marty gets tossed in a trunk, but broke out in time to see George McFly Biff in the face. Marvin's hand was busted up in the trunk break, and Marty steps into play, until he begins to fade away in the middle of the song. A significant amount of this movie is spent on Marty not finishing songs. He is currently 0 for 3. Then, the kiss. Now we are ready to get back to 1985, which was super important, but not as important as ripping off Chuck Berry in front of Marvin Berry, prompting Marvin Berry to call Chuck Berry, now implying Marty provided Chuck Berry with one of the greatest songs of all time. Marty says goodbye and gets to the car, late of course, to get ready. Doc rips up the letter. Storm takes out a tree separating the weather equipment. Some Doc heroics at the clock tower get things back in order just as time is closing. Marty crosses the line just in time and heads back to save Doc, having slightly adjusted the time circuits for one more time. But since the car is out of gas, he arrives too late. But Doc read the letter, wore a bulletproof vest, and everyone is now alive. Marty meets his new versions of his family and the new Biff, but the same old Doc. Oh boy. I mean, what do you even say? The only controversial opinion is to give this anything less than an A. If you can't give this movie an A+ in science fiction, what can you give one to? I don't even know how to close this one out. I'd love to talk about counterpoints or where somebody might come from to knock this movie at all, but I seriously need to hear them from somebody. I have no idea where to come from. I need to hear what you possibly think you could argue against this movie. Rocking soundtrack. Leah Thompson, action, drama, romance, over-the-top bad guys, lovable hero, Doc freaking Brown, time travel, a unique car, plutonium, high-speed chases, skateboards, manure. Anyway, that's all for me, guys. Still working on reviews. I have a few other things that are coming up. Having a good time rolling. Thank you all for watching, and seriously, this is one of the greatest movies ever made. I'm Ham. No matter how far forward or back in time you go, enjoy the movie, and have a great day.